Hello, today I'm going to show you how to set up a mesh network from scratch. So here's the network diagram. I have a V3000 as a pop connected to a switch, and then over the wireless link, I connect to another V5000, and then I connect to another V3000 over the wireless link. All these three nodes are sitting on the table facing the ceiling, so let the signal reflecting back on the ceiling. So that's the switch, and then connecting to the switch, there is a E2E controller. I'm going to show you how to set it up. And there's also a cnMaestro. I already have it set up, and I'm not going to get into detail. The the cnMaestro will need to run on version 3.0.4, and the E2E controller will need to run on 1.1.1 version. Make sure that you have this version or higher so that you don't have to worry about any IPv6 configuration at all, because we provide a feature that will make it so smart that the E2E controller will figure out the proper way to send control traffic via different pops to the remote nodes, as long as they connect to the same VLAN. Okay, so once the network is up, the two PCs from one at the landline side and one at the wireless side will be able to talk to each other. I recorded down the MAC address of each radio node so that I can use it when I try to add nodes to the network. So before I go into detail, I will explain how the operation work. So first, you need to set up the cnMaestro, and then you set up the E2E controller with IPv4 IP address. And also, you're going to say, okay, this E2E controller need to point to the cnMaestro's IP address, IPv4 IP address. So once that's happened, the E2E controller will try to connect to the cnMaestro, so you can go to the cnMaestro and then approve the onboarding of the E2E controller. So once that happened, all the IPv6 configuration will be taken care of. Okay. Now, then I will add sites and then we'll add nodes, and one of the nodes will be a pop. So the pop need to be configured to point to the E2E controller, so that the E2E controller can push configuration parameters to the pop. But no worries, you don't need to do anything. All this will be automatically generated when you try to add a pop to the via the cnMaestro. The cnMaestro will generate a config file. All you need to do is to log into the pop's default IP address, which is 169.254.1.1. And then you say you upload this config file to the pop. So once that's done, the pop will automatically point to the E2E controller. As for the DN and CN, you don't have to do anything. You just add a device and then set up a link. And the DN or CN will keep on scanning. And once you set up the link, the nodes that's already connected will just try to ignite the DN. They are doing beamforming and things like that. So eventually the link will be up, and then the configuration parameters will be pushed down. So this is like a daisy chain setup, but then you can expand to have another pop, another, that would be, it's the same kind of setup procedure. As long as you do it in such a way that this pop and the E2E controller will be in the same VLAN. You don't have to worry about anything with IPv6 at all. Okay. So here's the setup procedure. Step number one, set up the cnMaestro. Step number two, set up the E2E controller and point the E2E controller to the cnMaestro. And so once that happens, you go log into the cnMaestro and onboard the E2E controller and let the system assign IPv6 for the E2E controller. You need to enable auto managed route so that the E2E controller will automatically choose proper ports to route control traffic for the DN CN. Okay. Then you start to add sites. What's a site? A site is the location where you're going to install the node. So you will add nodes to the site. Important, because I'm inside the room, I don't see any satellite. So I need to make sure that I disable the GPS on all the nodes. This is something extra, but you don't have to do it in a real deployment, okay? So in addition, I need to use different channels to avoid self-interference because I'm, these nodes are very close to each other. And then that we already talked about, when we add a pod node, we'll download the pod configuration and log into the pod and apply the configuration. And then we add link. Okay, that's it. So now I'm going to show you how to set up a E2E controller. CMI show there's plenty of information showing you how to set it up, so don't need to worry about. For the E2E controller, is following the same idea. You download the E2E controller appliance from our website, and then you import the appliance. You go to your download and then open and so on, and then you just hit next. I don't want to waste time, so I already have it done. So now, once that's done, you log in as cnWave, and password is cnWave. Okay. The first time set up, the system will ask you to initialize. It will show a screen like this, so you have to initialize. Okay. So I'll try to save time, so you don't need to do that. So it's already initialized, and then what you need to do is to configure the IP address. Okay, go to the network setting, configure IPv4 IP address. So set it up, like this. Once already that it's done, so you set it up like this, and then the next, you're going to point the CN E2E controller to the CN maestro. So enter the IP address only. You just need to enter the IP address. Don't need to worry about this thing. Enter the IP address of the CN maestro. Okay, and then update. That's done. So once you get it done, you log into the CN maestro. The CN maestro will show that there's a new E2E controller waiting for you to approve. So you click on that and you approve. So I will choose auto assign, let it assign the IP address and things like that, and enable layer 2 bridge so that the network will be running on layer 2. So underlying, all the underlying is still IPv6, but you will be able to pass any layer 2 traffic through the network. Okay. Waiting for this to be done. Okay. Now I need to configure the okay, I'm going to choose deterministic, and so I will need to go here, go to the setting. I need to enable auto manage route. Okay, so this will get me to be able to talk to the DN and CN later on. Okay, so let it activating. Okay, now it's active. So now what I need to do is I'm going to add sites. I'm going to add 3 sites. So one of the site would be pop 1 site. Okay, so I can enter the latitude or longitude, or I can just move this thing around. So I will say, okay, I'm going to put the pop here. Attitude, I will put 10. Okay, so I will add another site. That will be, let's say, DN1 site. And just randomly put the number here. And I will put the DN maybe here. Okay, so 2 sites. I will add another site that will be a CN site. Okay, CN1 site. And again, I will move this guy here. Okay, save. Now I will add the pop node to the pop side. So I will add node. And what I need to do is I need to copy the pop node's MAC address. So the pop node's MAC address is here. So copy it. I will say it's called pop 1 and copy the pop. It's a pop node B5000. Everything is fine. You don't have to do anything. You don't even need to configure the IPv4 IP address, but you can, so that later on you can refer to it. But I'm going to save time. I'm not going to configure it. Save. So on the port node, now you're going to see the config file will automatically be generated. So I will just need to load the config file to the port node. So I'm going to go to, I already logged in to save time. So I'm going to go to the port node and then go to quick start, select the node as a port node. And once that happens, I will be allowed to import the onboard config. So it's here. So I will import it and then save. So now the port node will automatically connect to the E2E controller. So now go here. Oh, sorry. Now I go here. Oh, it's already online. But you know, for the link to work, I will actually force GPS disable. This is because I'm running this thing indoor. And also I will use channel 3 for setter 2. Okay, I'm going to use channel 3 for setter 2. Okay, save. And so now the pop also I don't need to do anything here. So now I'm going to add a DN, add node, and I'm going to call it DN1. Okay, and it's a DN. I'm going to copy the MAC address of the DN and set it up here. So this one I will set the IPv4 IP address for fun. Okay, I don't need to do anything else. Oh, okay, it will ask me for subnet mask. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so remember to set this guy to false GPS disable. And also I'm going to use another channel. I'm going to use I'm going to use channel 1. I'm going to use channel 1 for the for sector 1. Okay, channel 1 for sector 1. And so now I'm going to, I already set it up, log into the DN to make sure that this is disabled. Okay, so this is important. So you need to manually do that. This is only for indoor. If you are not indoor, you don't have to do this thing. So you have to set it up and then submit. Okay. So I have the DN done. Now I'm going to add the CN. So I'm going to add another node. So that's going to be a CN, and I'm going to copy the so it's going to be the CN1. I'm going to copy, and okay, I'm going to set the IP address. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect port 1 sector 2 to DN1 sector 2. Okay, I'm going to connect to port 1 sector 2. Or actually, I'm going to connect. I will actually change this guy. I will actually connect port sector 2 to sector 1. So, but then use a different channel. You don't have to worry about it. It's just for channel manipulation. So now I'm going to set up a link. I'm going to add a link. So port 1 sector 2. Okay, and connect to DN sector 1. Okay, save. And I will, from the DN, I'm going to set up another link. I will now use sector 2 of the to connect to the CN. Okay, I will say save. So now what we need to do is just to wait for the links to come up. Okay, eventually now we're going to see the links. Okay, so link is already up. That's it. It's so simple. And now you should be able to ping the radio. So I'm going to ping 105. I can do that. And this PC here can ping this PC. So I'm running from this PC here. I can ping this guy.